Welcome to another inspirational teaching by Pastor James Green, lead pastor of Champion Life Center. For more information about our church, visit our website at www.championlifecentercentre.org.
You may not be a very spiritual person here this morning, but I can tell you, all of us recognize there's good and there's evil. And can I tell you, there is a real evil presence in this world. And the devil doesn't like you, and he hates your gut, and he's out to destroy you. God gives us an image, even a lion. Image of a lion. A lion is not a nice little kitty cat. A lion is something that can destroy you, literally, with one blow. One crunch, one swipe, one leap. And you know what? He is not going to fight pretty or fair. He's out to destroy us. And one of the spiritual forces that he uses is the spirit of fear. See, he may not be a physical form that we recognize. You may not have any physical lions chasing after you. But I think that every one of us in here could admit and say that we've all faced fears. How about fear of failure? How about fear of trying? How about fear of taking risk? Anybody in here? How about the fear of loneliness? The fears of rejection? The fear of not having enough? Come on, somebody, anybody. See, I'm gonna hit on one of your fears here in a minute. The fear of raising children. Come on, does anybody hear me here this morning? Fear of not having what it takes. Fear, especially us men, we want to be successful. We want to be our provider. We want to be our protector. And we fear I'm not going to make it. Maybe I'm not going to be a success. And what's the pressure of that? Can I tell you, it is the spirit of fear. My Bible tells me that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind. Come on, say it with me. God has not given me a spirit of fear, but of sound mind. If you allow fear to dominate you, can I tell you here this morning, fear will torment you. Amen. Fears will torment you. We got any worriers in here? See, nobody's going to raise their hand here today. Nobody's even going to admit, because we're Americans. We're home of the brave. We're macho. The Bible says in 1 John chapter 4 and verse 18, it says, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out all fear, because fear involves torment." Are you allowing the spirit of fear to dominate you? It will torment you. How many of you have laid awake at night trying to figure things out, fearful of what lays ahead or what lies ahead? How am I going to do this? How am I going to make this? I've lost somebody in my life. A relationship walked out. It was an unexpected thing. How am I going to do this? I'm talking about real fears. Fears. And God says that, see, when you know the love of God, He helps you overcome those fears. We've been talking about the love of God for weeks now. When you understand how much He loves you, it conquers fear in your life. Because, see, it's either fear or faith. There's no in between. I'm going to talk to you. Either fear or faith. Fear or faith. You've got to decide, I'm either going to walk in faith or I'm going to allow fear to take over me. What activates God? The Bible says that faith activates Jesus. And you know what activates Satan? Fear. Faith is the conduit that between us and God. It's what activates Him in our life to provide the miraculous for us to not walk in fear. But just as it's the conduit to God, fear is the conduit to Satan. The first thing that Adam did when he sinned, the Bible says he became afraid and that he ran and hid. Fear took over, and the result of sin was that Satan released fear in the earth. See, sometimes we think, I'm literally going to get out here and I'm going to fight physically some devils. No, it all happens right here. It all happens in your thinking, placing thoughts on you. And so fear is a real deal. Psychiatrists say that there are 2,000 identifiable fears or phobias known to mankind. Fear of water. Anybody? Fear of heights. Fear of dogs. Etc., etc. But there are only actually 2 fears that you're born with. The fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. That's why you ever seen a baby, a loud noise happens, what does that baby do? Shakes. Starts crying. That tells me that there are 1,998 fears that are learned fears. There's only 2 fears that you're born with. That if you can, and that tells me also if you can learn fears, you can unlearn the fear. Come on, somebody. Fear will paralyze you. It will neutralize you. It will stop you from trying. How many people do you know they've tried to live their life and do something, but they were acting in fear, and they never accomplished anything because of fear taking over their life. Some of you can identify here this morning, you didn't move forward because fear took over a situation. Fear took over an opportunity that you had. Fear is real. I believe that one of the richest places on the earth is not our natural resources. It's not the oil that's spilling out of the Gulf right now. But one of the richest resources in earth that you can find is in a graveyard. You could go to a graveyard, and if you could just hear someone speak and say, if I would have, I should have, I could have. How many opportunities were not taken advantage of before they went to their grave? How many books could have been written? How many songs maybe that would have changed someone's life? How many businesses or opportunity or God's callings on somebody's life went to the grave with them? You ever talk to somebody who's near the end of their life, and if you ask them what's most important, they usually will tell you, I'd risk it all. I would have tried harder. I would have risked more. I would have focused more on my family. Hey, anybody hear what I'm saying? The Bible says in the last days that men's hearts would trouble them with fear. And I believe that we're living in that time. Everybody faces fears. How do we deal with them? Can I tell you this morning, you got to become a fear fighter.
This is the end of this teaching, and we hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to visit us at www.championlifecenter.org.